This is a podcast from Rover.
The Editor-in-Chief is live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, welcome to the program. Good to have your company. You're with the Editor-in-Chief live. We're good. Nice to have you here. Welcome along. Is England the greatest threat to the All Blacks' 30-year winning record at Eden Park this weekend? We'll look at this. The last time they lost there was 1994. I was 20. Jim Bolger was the Prime Minister and John Timu did the All Black haka. And the crowd ran onto the field afterwards. Jonah was there too. He was on the field. Can the ABs clean sweep this very good English side? Call me. The open line is 0800 863 293. What do you reckon? And the host of the What a Lad podcast, current Crusaders assistant coach, former Super Rugby player James Marshall, will join us, as does Johnny Day. We'll talk about this. We'll get their thoughts on all of this. And are you a procrastinator? Let me just take a moment to think about it. Yeah. Today we have the world's leading expert in procrastination. We took time to get him on, but he's the leading figure in the world on procrastination. He'll join us a bit later on in the program. So jump on YouTube, TikTok, leave a comment. All the links are all here in front of us. It's news time. It's Active Day Friday. Here's MediaWorks Deputy News Editor Grace Cocker.
The Prime Minister is chuffed after having a face-to-face with President Joe Biden. It wasn't a bilateral meeting, but took place on the sidelines of the NATO summit. Christopher Luxon says the pair chatted about issues in the Pacific.
We had a couple of interactions last night which were lovely, and he's got a great sense of humour, and that was in a very much in an informal setting. And then today we had a pull aside with Secretary Blinken, the President and myself.
The government's waging war on the orange road cone. Transport Minister Simeon Brown is undertaking a review of temporary traffic management. He wants to combat the number being used. Teachers want targeted interventions following a rise in students being stood down for assaults. Tyler Youth Foundation's Jolene Cartwright says it can make all the difference.
Showing that empathy and that understanding, they will then in turn want to better themselves. They will want your support.
Energy Resources Aotearoa wants to see urgent investment in new gas explorations as a warning about waning supplies is issued. John Carnegie says New Zealand faces an uncertain future.
Affordable, reliable energy is the backbone of any industrial sector.
Tourists are being urged to stop feeding Kia after 5 deaths since April. Department of Conservation's Lydia McLean says the birds were hit and killed by vehicles at popular spots on Milford Road.
Don't ever feed Kia, not just because the food is bad for them, but because it changes their behaviour to make them hang out down on the roads.
To sport, All Blacks halfback Finlay Christie's excited to start tomorrow's second test against England in Auckland.
Playing in the black jersey at Eden Park, I guess the pinnacle for the All Blacks in New Zealand, so just grateful to be in that position.
The ABs are paying $1.25 to win at the TAB, England $3.70 for the upset. Kiwi golfer Lydia Ko's just one shot off the lead after the opening round of the EVN Championship Major in France. She's 6 under par in a share of 4th place. And in the NRL, the Dolphins beat the Rabbitohs 36-28. That's news and sport.
Garner.
Okay, thanks, Grace. You could have dressed up a little bit this morning.
I know,
What's
but
the deal?
Fridays is our Activewear Friday in the newsroom where we just dress comfortably and try to enjoy pre-weekend.
Do we still have Doggy Day Friday, or was that?
Yes, I want to bring mine in, but he's such a little rascal.
So we've got Active Day Friday, Activewear Friday.
Activewear Friday, that's just me and another reporter in the newsroom.
Right.
No one else really follows it.
So I could wear a sweatshirt and I could wear...
You could wear your tights, your little bike shorts.
My leg one was... Hey, do you go to the warehouse in your pyjamas?
No, I've been known to go to the dairy in track pants and a hoodie, but not pyjamas.
Okay.
I don't really own pyjamas, to be fair.
Yeah, neither.
I just wear my husband's baggy clothes.
1980s. Yeah.
Duncan Garner.
Okay, nice to have your company. 0800 863 293. Do you think the All Blacks can keep the unbeaten record at Eden Park, 30 years unbeaten? It's a phenomenal record. It must create huge pressure on them, you know. Assistant coach of the Crusaders and host of the What a Lad podcast, really good podcast, James Marshall. He joins me now. James, good to have you on the podcast, mate. Nice to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me, mate. I'm looking forward to talking some All Blacks footy.
Yeah, it must be huge pressure on the All Blacks. They have this 30-year record now, just extends and extends and extends. Jonah played there the last time they lost, you know?
Yeah, that's an incredible stat. 30 years is such a long time, and they play there more often than any other stadium too, so it's not like they're just playing there every now and again. They'll get at least 2 or 3 test matches there a year, so it's an incredible stat, and I'm sure they'll be feeling the pressure of the new coaching staff with trying to continue that on.
48 wins it's been, 48 wins and 2 draws. So this will be, if they do it this weekend, it's 49 wins consecutively. That is phenomenal. How do you prepare for a game like this when you've beaten England by 1 point, a drubbing, and then you've got to come back? And we know it's a good England side, right?
Yeah, it is a very good England side, and I was pretty nervous going into that last game for them because I feel like the way England played was really going to test us. Just their pressure game, they're very good at their kicking game, set piece. I thought we did a really good job in those two areas. Our scrum was really good, and we caught most of their high balls and contested balls that they put up. So I thought we did a really good job at taking away some of their strengths, but with the pressure and how quickly we had to come together with the new coaching group, changing all the calls, a whole new try and style that we're going to play. I always felt like we're going to be under the pump a little bit last week, but hopefully this extra week, same team they've named basically, except for the halfback, Finlay Christie gets a run, but going to be a real good opportunity for them to improve on what they did last week, and I think we'll see a better All Black side this weekend.
Yeah, so do I. You'll be a bit more polished. How do you get around this rush defence? I mean, I played a bit of footy, but I was a halfback, so I was never out in the backs. You've played the game at a very high level, and you coach now, of course, as well. How do you get around rush defence? What do we need to do?
Yeah, I think that's one area that we struggled with in the weekend. England came probably harder than we thought they were going to come. I think a few teams try and play rush defence, but the way South Africa are playing at the moment and England both coming incredibly hard. So you've got to sort of get through them earlier so that when they are coming up, they've got to backpedal and they can't get up the second time, or you've just got to hold your depth and try and get around them. So having a couple of times in the weekend where Geordie almost got it away, but the guy got the ball and him at the same time. So just a little bit more depth, hold our feet, and have to have really accurate passing so that we can transfer the ball really quickly.
Geordie Barrett's going to end up being an All Black great if he's not already. I mean, the guy is a beast of a size, as you know, but he's still incredibly young, and he's an incredible player, isn't he?
Yeah, he was the man of the match for me in the weekend. He was so good, and he has been for a long time. He's got the skills. He's got everything. He's like physically, like you say, he's a beast. He's tough. He's got all the skills, and really smart player as well. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I think he is going to be an All Black great, if not already.
Yeah. Who do we keep an eye on with the English side? Who should we be looking out for? Because there's this first five. He was only okay last weekend with his goal kicking, but who do we look out for?
Yeah, Marcus Smith was someone that I was excited to see go last week. I think he'll be pretty disappointed with how he went, especially off the tee. I thought a lot of kickers actually struggled over the weekend off the tee, which was unusual. But I'm looking forward to seeing him having another crack. And yeah, just probably expressing himself a little bit more than he did in the weekend. I thought the fullback was really good. I didn't know much about him going into that game, but man, he had a really good game, and off the back of a good season over in the English Premiership. Yeah, and Chandler, the big number 6, who's originally from Christchurch, went to Christchurch Uni down here, went overseas a little bit earlier, and he's made the most of his move over to the UK.
He really has. Pressure on Rieko Ioane. Everyone says that he's not playing well, and he's not scoring tries. But the guy's heavily marked and he's crowded, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he was too bad in the weekend. He obviously his opportunities were pretty limited, and it's going to be the same for him this weekend. The way England defend, they're coming at the second to last, third to last attacker really hard. So he's probably not going to be the guy in space again this weekend. It's going to go over top of him probably to the wingers, and you'll see Mark Taller and Severis get a lot more ball than probably Perifetta's and Rico's, unless Perifetta comes into that first receiver type spot where he does quite regularly. So I think it's probably going to be another quiet game for Rieko, but I think he's pretty hungry to go looking for some work. So hopefully he can find his hands on the ball a little bit more and have a bit more of a crack. Geez,
I was impressed with Severis. I know he hadn't played for 18 months for the All Blacks, but he just looked like a ball of energy. I know he's had a good super season, but man, he's impressive, eh?
Oh man, he was so impressive for us at the Crusaders this year. Like, in a losing side for a majority of it, man, he was our man of the match every single week. Just the way he goes looking for balls, he can for the ball, and he can create something out of nothing. And physically, some of the hits he was putting on. For a small man, he's only a short little guy, but powerful, so powerful. And I think the English felt his force a fair few times in the weekend.
Yeah. So how do you think it'll go then tomorrow? You're picking the All Blacks, and I mean, no, I saw that England could go close. England could cause one major boil over tomorrow. I mean, they're capable of it, aren't they?
They're definitely capable of it, and if they get that sort of game where it's kicking game into a set piece game, and it's really slow, and it's a real strangle type game, I think obviously these sort of games can become 50-50s, and I think last weekend's was like any of those decisions in that last 5 minutes could have changed that game, and we could have lost that. But I'm expecting to see a decent improvement from this All Black side, and I'm expecting us to win by that sort of 12-point margin.
Yeah. Hey, good on you, mate. Appreciate your time. What a Lad podcaster, James Marshall. I appreciate it. All the very best, mate.
No worries.
Okay,
thanks for having me.
Take care. You're very welcome.
Garner.
Tooks is said to be on the messages here. Duncan, AB is 13 and over. And we will find ways to critique their performance. Good old Tall Poppy in New Zealand. Moana says, Duncan, leave her alone. Grace looks very respectable in her active wear. Better than PJs. It's going to be another close one. DG, says James, AB's by less than 5. Johnny Day is with us for the Sporty Rumble. JD, how you going, mate?
Yeah, good. Love seeing Jimmy Marshall there. A good Crusaders and Tasman man fins up.
Good player.
He was very good. Played sevens for New Zealand and won the Hurricanes their only title.
That's right.
Back in the day as well, 2016. And he knows his rugby, man. He is a great assistant coach for the Crusaders, locked in for a few more years as well. Well, we wait to see if Rob Penny's going to keep his job, which will be interesting.
Is there a decision make?
That review's still going. Well, it's been done, and I think it's been delivered to Colin Mansbridge, the CEO of the Crusaders, and then he'll make a call. But I think they'll all be back together. But more pressing, tomorrow night, Eden Park. Yeah. I'm still a bit nervous because of Test 1 and because of how good that English pack was, and we didn't quite take it to them. I think Samapeni Finau, I need a big performance from him with ball in hand, and I need him to snot some people as well.
You just took the word out of my mouth. I was about to say he needs to snot someone.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it shows our age. Maybe we come from the same vintage, but yeah, it'd be great if he could just put a shoulder into Marcus Smith early, and then Rico Ioane's another guy who I want to see on his home ground at Eden Park really carve it up like we used to see Rico do.
Bit of space, eh?
Yeah, scored any tries for the Blues this year, and he does need a bit of space, which he's not going to get unless those forwards carry the ball over the advantage line and get us some go-forward ball. So, very interesting and intriguing second test.
Yeah, how will Finlay Christie go? Because there's a lot of pressure on him, right?
There is, because no one's Aaron Smith.
Yeah.
And everyone who starts at halfback for the All Blacks now is going to be like, oh, he's a bit slow.
It's halfback idle. It's halfback idle, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, TJ Perenara, he does what he does, but he ain't no Aaron Smith, and Finlay's not either, and Cortez Ratima won't be, and Noah Hotham, who's in the squad too, he won't be either. So
Cam Roygaard, though.
Yeah, he's very bloody good. He's got a whole other set of tricks than Aaron Smith had. So Finlay, he'll be solid, which is what we want, I think. He won't make any errors. He'll get around the park. He'll get to the rucks quickly, and he'll pass that ball not quite as fast as Aaron Smith, but he'll do a good job.
What else you got for us? What else is happening in sport this weekend?
We got Wimbledon, which Lulu Sun, of course, her run came to an end in the quarterfinals, which was amazing. $800,000 later for Lulu, which was really cool. But there's some Kiwis in the doubles. Michael Venus lost his doubles semi-final this morning.
He's good, though, eh?
He is good, and he teamed up with Erin Routliffe, who's in the women's doubles overnight. They played mixed doubles, and Michael Venus beat his men's doubles partner in the quarterfinals. So doubles gets all a bit weird, doesn't it?
Let's just pause on Venus for a while. I mean, this guy has remodelled himself from being a singles player who couldn't really make it to being a doubles player who's making a living on the circuit.
Very much so, yeah. Won the French Open a few years ago, won an Olympic medal.
How old
in
is
tennis,
he must be
in
older
doubles.
now.
Yeah, he's getting well towards the end, I think, mid-30s. But he's still got it to make the semi-finals at Wimbledon. And you get paid well for doubles. Like, no one watches it. When's the last time you sat down and watched doubles?
It would have been when I got home one night after having a few grogs and turned on the telly, and that sort of thing's on. There it is there.
Hey! But they get paid bloody well, so they're doing very well. And of course, they're all going to be going to the Olympics soon in Paris, which is very exciting. Also in boxing, Andrei Mikhailovich, who's a Russian orphan who got adopted by a New Zealand couple when he was 18 months old out of St. Petersburg, came to Auckland, got bullied at high school, said, I want to beat up the bullies. So learned how to box with Jesse Peach at Peach Boxing.
Peach Boxing.
And he is fighting for the IBF and WBO middleweight titles in Las Vegas on Sunday.
That's a really big deal.
It's a massive deal.
Yep.
And like David Tua, Joseph Parker, Miyamoto. That's about the only 3 New Zealanders I can think of who have ever fought for a world heavyweight title. There was a Duden Timaru, back in about 120 years ago, I think, was the heavyweight champion, but he was more English than a Kiwi.
There was a boxer from Tukalua called Mahana. And he fought who's the champ? Mundine.
Oh, right.
And go back to the black and white grainy footage about the 60s. And this guy Mahana came out of the forests of Tukalua and smashed this guy.
Oh, nice.
He was a world champion. Brilliant. But he was brilliant. But he was just a boy from the pub,
Yeah. So Andrei Mikhailovich, an orphan from Russia, fighting for New Zealand for 2 world titles in Las Vegas on Sunday. You got to check that out.
Peach is good, eh? Isaac Peach.
Oh, mate, he is as like blue collar as it gets.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Yeah. If you had him on the podcast,
I have,
you'd have to get beeps every 5 minutes, but that's just the way they roll, and that's the way Mikhailovich rolls as well. He's rough as guts, and I hope he goes well on Sunday. Lids is going well at the Evian Championship Major in France. She won this in 2015 as a 18-year-old, and then won a major the next year, and that's it. Yeah. She hasn't won any majors since, but she's only 1 shot off the pace, which would be great for her. And then Euro final on Monday morning, Duncan, half an hour before your show starts.
Football's coming home.
Oh, God, I hope it's not. I hope the Spanish can really do a job on them, because we don't want to have to put up with the English thinking they're world champions. It's only Euro.
Hey, they never win.
No, they don't. And long may that continue at Eden Park tomorrow and at Euros in Berlin on Monday morning.
Good on you, JD. Appreciate it, mate. Always do.
Garner.
Okay, 0800 863 293. Can the All Blacks win? Who thinks they might lose their 30-year winning record? What do you think, Kalo? No? It's impossible. They'll win at Eden Park. It's a fortress, mate. Isn't it? It's a fortress.
It is a fortress. Yeah. And I don't know, I'm touching a lot of wood right now.
Yes, so am I.
I'm hoping I'm not jinxing it.
Yeah.
I just can't see it happening. This England side is good, but as we've seen over the years, in a second test after a slightly dodgy All Blacks performance,
they come back hard.
It changes around. Yeah.
And Robertson will be like, okay, we're home now. We're home at the Eden Park, And
but
there'll be 50,000 people.
I did just watch the try from the end of the world from 1994. And I'm just going, can the English side do that?
No.
They need a lot more than 10 men to do that, I think.
No, but exactly. But I watched the French game against the All Blacks 94 this morning as well. I got up early, watched it. Oh, my God. They broke us. They just whittled us down,
Yeah, Jonah would have been all of, 19?
Yeah, you see him there. He looks young, doesn't he? He no idea where he's on position and on defence. Okay, good stuff.
3 questions from the editor-in-chief.
Okay, here we go. It's number 1. At number 1 today, here goes. And the question goes like this. Could this mean interest rates are now on their way down? Yes. Holding the official cash rate alongside the Reserve Bank's comments could see the OCR cut as early as August the 14th. So mark that date down. I think this is the first time someone's mentioned the date. August the 14th, okay? Already banks have moved, and this week inflation hit 3%, so it's time. The Reserve Bank Governor has completely strangled the New Zealand economy. I'm going to get a bit angry about this. The damage has been well and truly done now. He had little choice and few options, but remember, inflation's our enemy. Still, and yes, it's hindsight, but the guy pumped far too much money into the economy, then was far too slow to pull it all back, and then had to act fast. And this recession's been brutal, it's been aggressive, and the personal toll for those who've lost their jobs and businesses is still mounting. Enough's enough, Governor. Call off your dogs. Let us survive. We've more than done our bit, and give us a bloody break, please.
2.
Number 2, are food prices finally coming down? Yes. I have more good news, folks, on the cost of everything front, and you'll like this. Food prices have just recorded their largest annual decrease in 6 years. But that actually means it's the first decrease in 6 years. And it's 0.3%. 0.3%. And I've done the maths on this. It's exactly 1 cent off a loaf of bread. That costs $4.50. Knock yourself out. The average price of a 1 litre bottle of olive oil in New Zealand's increased, though, to $20. It's up 49.5% in 12 months. Now, due to rounding, the saving on the bread was never passed on, by the way. Due to rounding, so you never got the saving.
3.
At number 3 today, this guy. What is it with angry boomers? Dunedin City Councillor Lee Vandervis, who went all the way to the High Court over a parking ticket, let it go, you knob, appears to have an issue now with Māori and may yet be censored by the wider council. He's annoyed at the, quote, Māorification of some artwork, and he's refusing to participate in Te Pai Māori, which comprises of sitting councillors and the local representatives of Iwi. He noted, quote, I am a long-term, high-polling elected representative of all the people of Dunedin, and I'm not prepared to be dictated to in an official council meeting by an elite claiming to represent 7% of our voting public, as detailed in the document. So angry. Too angry. Suck it up, pal. Why do some boomers act like total complete prats?
Garner.
Yeah, that's that guy. He's got to go on our plonkers list, that guy. He's right up there with Nobby. Right, I've got a joke about procrastination for you. Oh, I forget. I'll tell you about it later. Do you have a procrastination problem? See what I did there? Mine is paying parking tickets. I just forget. It never goes away, but I just forget, you see. Apparently 1 in 5 of us are chronic procrastinators, so you're not alone. But is it a case of bad time management, and how do you stop yourself constantly putting things off? We spoke to the world's leading expert on procrastination, seriously. If you do not believe me, then Google him. It is Tim Pychyl.
Joe Ferrari, professor at DePaul University in Chicago, has done research on how frequent it is in people's lives. And he'll argue that 20% of people worldwide are chronic procrastinators. I have difficulty trying to pin down a number because, like all things, is how we measure it. And the word really means different things in different contexts. But I don't think it's a bad thing to estimate that 20% of people will report they chronically procrastinate. It gets them down. It's not helping.
Yeah, I wonder what is procrastination, because the new All Black captain, this is our national team, the All Blacks, and he was offered the job of being the captain of the national rugby team here in New Zealand. He took 3 weeks to say yes. Now, he went to get advice, because it's a big job, and you're high profile and a lot of scrutiny. So he took 3 weeks to say yes to the coach. Now, is that procrastination, or is that just being smart?
Well, that's just it. And we might even call that sagacious delay, sagacious being to be smart. But, there's many forms of delay. There's purposeful delay. There's inevitable delay. We just had inevitable delay before we started this interview. Things weren't working. That's inevitable when we're working like we are across the world. And then there's delay due to emotional problems. So I have next to me here on a desk a picture of my father. And when he died back in 2016, the wheels came off my truck and I can get things done, but I didn't say, "Oh, Tim, you're such a terrible procrastinator." I needed some time to grieve, and I couldn't self-regulate very well. So, go back to your question. Yeah, it might have been very purposeful delay. So we need to think through things through, and sometimes we could do it strategically, because if you look like you might not buy, for example, then the vendor comes back and offers you a discount. So there's all sorts of reasons that delay may happen in our lives. But procrastination is a particular form of delay. It's the voluntary delay of an intended action. So you're actually intending to do something, but you're voluntarily delaying it, even though you know, or at least you think, you're going to be worse off for the delay. And you can see how self-defeating that is. I'm sure if your captain thought he was going to be worse off, he wouldn't be waiting 3 weeks.
Yeah. I procrastinate around parking tickets that I owe money for. I procrastinate around speeding fines and things like that. They sit and they pile up in front of me until the last minute, when sometimes I'm worse off as a result because they've added another $20. That is classic procrastination, isn't it?
Yeah, that's classic. And, so what's precipitating that? So you... speeding tickets, parking tickets, whatever it is, when you think about it, what does it do? It evokes a negative emotion. It could be resentment or frustration or embarrassment or anger. It could be any of these. And whenever we have a negative emotion, it's human nature to want to get rid of that emotion. So we've learned, whether it be that ticket you need to pay or a room you need to clean up or anything that's causing you negative emotions, if you put off the task, you can put off those emotions, at least for the moment. So we're giving in to feel good now.
With procrastination, how many people do you think, do you suffer it, or do you just involve yourself in it? I mean, is it a thing that you suffer from, or is it something that you choose to do?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't think I've ever been asked that question just like that, and it's a profound way to ask it. Everything in this world is nature and nurture together. So we come into the world, nature, and we have some basic personality traits kind of laid down in us. And even those, though, are nature and nurture. So, they're not, you're not, it's not destiny. But there are many things that are probably going to play themselves out. So, for example, you might not be very conscientious. That's one of the major personality traits. How self-disciplined are you? How dutiful, how organized? And if you're not very much that way, you're more likely to procrastinate. There's other traits too, like neuroticism, which is emotional stability. If you're not very emotionally stable, if you're prone to worry and depression, you're more likely to procrastinate. It's not a disease. It's a coping style. And so some of us are prone to cope this way because of traits, we might say, and then we can learn. That's the nurture side of it. We learn very early in life that, gee, this procrastination can pay off, right? I can put things off and I feel better, at least in the short term.
And I'm aware of, I covered politics for a long time in Wellington, in our capital city, and I would see one particular politician procrastinate on things because he wanted to see if there was a better offer throughout the day. Or if he had all the available information when he made his statement. Winston Peters is his name. And so he waits all day, sometimes halfway through the night, before he puts out a statement or makes his decision, because he wants to have the best available information, plus he might be a bit dishevelled and disorganised, and he waits. So he's one of those guys that waits, and I think it's worked for him, you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's a strategic delay. I remember years ago, I was asked in relation to that in terms of the White House, things going on in the White House. Is this procrastination? I'd say, no, I think it's really strategic delay. You're doing it on purpose. It's purposeful delay. Your practical reason is leading you to say, this is the best decision, all things taken. But that's not the case with procrastination. As I said, the definition is you do have this nagging sense that I'm going to be worse off for this delay. That's what makes it predictably irrational.
Is this a personality or is it a learned trait?
Just both. As I said, sometimes we've got things influencing it like lack of emotional stability. Impulsivity is one I didn't mention yet. You're highly impulsive. You're more likely to procrastinate. So those factors play into everything in our lives. Personality always bubbling in the background. But we do learn. We need to cope with all our negative emotions. And one of the ways of coping is avoidance. And I can't stress this enough. If listeners take one thing away today, is that fellow in Canada that Duncan talked to said, procrastination is not a time management problem, it's an emotion management problem. And if you can look at it that way, you can realize, yeah, I'm coping with avoidance. Are there other ways I might cope that might serve me better? There sure is.
Yeah, this is the motivation followed by action, isn't it? So if you can just take baby steps, is this the way around your procrastination?
Yeah, and I would say, everyone kind of gets that idea of baby steps, but I have to ask myself something very simple. What's the next action? What's the next action I would take on this if I was going to do it? And I'll even say to myself, because I'm not, I don't want to put myself in a corner, but what would be the next action? Keep that action as tiny as possible, that lowest, as you say, baby step. So I have to answer that gnarly email. Okay, my next action is just open my laptop and skim through the email again. I can do that. I haven't said I'm going to answer it. Okay, what's the next action? I just need to hit reply and type a few lines. And you see, after a couple of those, you realize I'm doing it. It's when we don't take that step, that baby step, as you call it. And for me, that mantra is, what's the next action? On really bad days, we might have to ask ourselves that question 1,000 times. But you know what? At the end of the day, we get our stuff done.
Yeah.
We never felt like it all day.
Yeah.
The whole day's gone by and you go, what a day. I didn't feel like doing anything, but I got it done.
Yeah, and it's taking that first step. Sometimes if I've done something really physical and I'll wake up the next day and I'm really sore, and it can take me a long time to make that move to get out of bed. And so I'm procrastinating now because I could do it, but it might hurt a bit or whatever. So I'm just going to wait. And sometimes I wait half an hour. And like I'm a stunned mullet waiting just to get up. I don't know when that moment's going to be. I'm a classic procrastinator, I reckon. You're laughing at me.
That's a good one. Well, we can procrastinate on going to bed too. There's some Dutch colleagues, some wonderful research on bedtime procrastination. Just one more episode of this Netflix show,
yeah.
Or I'm just going to do this. And sometimes we need to do that because it's, for many busy people, it's the only moments of the day you get to yourself. But these are people also who say, I need to get to bed. And so in both cases, we have to realize that here's another one of my personal mantras that comes from the research and it comes from Buddhist mindfulness practice. It's okay to feel this way. And what I mean by that is I don't feel like getting out of bed, or I don't feel like going to bed. Let's use both ends of that. It's okay to feel that way. And you don't have to feel like it to do it. Just before we got on air, you and I were talking about kids, because I was talking about an interaction I had with my late teen daughter and how it left me quite unsettled. Teens always say that. I don't feel like it. And I'll say, I didn't ask you how you felt. It's time to do the dishes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's the thing. Do procrastinators set themselves deadlines and then set themselves up to fail, or should procrastinators set deadlines so they can actually try and get something done?
Oh, well, deadlines are a funny thing because they're a double-edged sword. If you give someone a very distant deadline with a lot of autonomy, no, and that's just a recipe for procrastination. There's a wonderful poem. He had a year to do it in. And as the poem goes through, of course, he doesn't do anything. The last 6 months really flew by. But on the flip side of it, no one likes to be over-controlled either, right? And so you have to find that sweet spot. Some people say, I set the deadline a few days early and I work towards that. But other people would say, I could never do that because I know I'm lying to myself. And most people recognize that as well. But you know what? It's different strokes for different folks. You have to find how you're going to leverage your own self-control, because we all have some self-control. It's that we don't apply it in some parts of our lives. So then we have to look back and say, well, how am I going to leverage that? And here's an example. Let's say I don't like to go to the gym, but I promised Duncan I'd meet him at the gym. I know about my own personality. I'd never let another person down. Yeah. So I'm at the gym even though I wouldn't go on my own.
Yeah, because you don't want to let them down. Hey, great chat. I've got something out of this. And I really appreciate your time. Good. Take care.
Duncan. Yeah, it's nice to meet you. Take care.
Yeah, all the best.
Garner.
Yeah, good guy. Enjoyed having chatted with him. So, you've said to me this. James has said, Duncan, I don't know if this is procrastination. I left cleaning the house for months. So on Tuesday, I finally tackled it. I crushed 25 boxes and recycled them. They were cluttering the house. Wow, James, that is procrastination, putting it off. I think men put off cleaning. I think it's a men's thing. We put off cleaning. If you are commenting on YouTube, it's more than likely that I will read it out live. So if you comment right now, I'll read it out. This is how it works. We are live. This is not a pre-recorded business. We are live, the only live news podcast in the country. We're live, so you comment, we talk about it. James also says, I watched Gordon Ramsay Uncharted New Zealand episode and he embraced our Māori culture better than some Kiwis that live here do. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Multiculturalism, yes, but biculturalism, coexistence, nah, not ready for some Kiwis. No surprises there. And Tuxa said, James, it's a head scratcher. I want to say a certain word, but I might get sent to comment purgatory for 24 hours. Not with us, you won't. Duncan, did you get any kingies yesterday? I didn't go fishing. I'll tell you what really happened. Actually, I'll tell you right now.
It's the slam dunk.
I have had a shocker. Here goes. 2 nights ago, I chose to drive back from Rotorua to Auckland, leaving about 10 p.m. at night. I took my son down there to catch up with some friends who was going whitewater rafting, so I left him down there. It took me more than 6 hours to get back. It was a bloody debacle. It was dangerous. It was downright taking the piss. NZTA effectively closed so many roads, it was almost impossible to get home. Dense fog, yep. House moving companies, yep, that was all there. That didn't help. But this was the worst experience on New Zealand roads since I began driving in 1989. Twice I was turned around and head back to Hamilton, through no fault of my own. Once on the Waikato Expressway at Hampton Downs. That's how road closures worked. Then I got further north. Somehow the entire southern motorway appeared closed. I weaved my way around Juri, Karaka, King Seat. Every possible traffic management truck and code in New Zealand was blocking on and off ramps, all the way up the southern motorway. And when I finally collapsed in the door at 4:11 a.m, I was fried, shaking, delirious. It dragged on so much, I started singing and shouting to myself in the car to stay awake. Because if I'd fallen asleep, I would have died. The fog didn't help. No way. But combine all that, and this experience may be akin to what awaits in hell, should any of us be so unlucky to get shown that door. Now, I know these traffic management guys and trucks have a job to do, and the cones are just absolutely ridiculous. But can we apply some normal common sense to all this? Because it's heavy-handed. It gets in the way of life. And seriously, it's just damn over the top. Closing the main drag between Auckland and the rest of the country between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. creates problems because when you shoved us onto the goat track beside the motorway, you didn't tell us that the house moving companies were moving up there as well. So we were in the gutter. Who's in charge? Is the left hand talking to the right hand? If you are angry and annoyed at these trucks and the cones and everything, then get hold of me. We need to make some noise about this. To be sent off the motorway was one thing, but then to be stopped by the house moving companies as they shifted what seemed like the entire housing portfolio of Prime Minister Chris Luxon, it sent me nuts. Honestly, the houses just kept coming. It was like Luxon's portfolio. I was just nuts. The other guy was yelling at them at 4 a.m. I couldn't quite believe my luck when we were stopped on the road that was meant to get us there. Well, yeah, this is the road that'll get you there. Suddenly there's a house on it. We're sending people bananas. To me, the whole industry appears out of control, heavy-handed, and it slows us down to the point where we're getting nowhere at all. Is it really necessary to close everything down, to put paint on the road? Here's the bad bit, folks. Sorry to do this, but here's the bad bit. Work starts soon on the potholes, and they intend to close on and off ramps around the country for 2 hours per pothole. That's how long it takes to fix a pothole. It's not a joke. It's 2 hours to fix a pothole. So they're going to close on and off ramps 2 hours. 2 hours. And there's $4 billion put aside to fix and fill these potholes. So we might be stuck around red cones and these trucks for months to come. Read the website, beware what's going on after hours. You might just not make it home. If I was older and more bewildered, the experience would have been much, much more unkind. Lucky I'm such a young guy. Got there all right, eh?
Garner.
Okay, Duncan says, Marty, try driving from Lake Caterpillar and Auckland Airport with a large family with a hard deadline for a hard-earned, long overdue holiday. Oh, I bet you didn't make it on time. Duncan, you find experience what I experience on the daily drive on the road that I do. I hope you eventually got some sleep. Yeah, that was during the show yesterday. Sorry, I didn't even made it because I was that fried. They're so bad. Good morning, Duncan. Procrastination is a good issue to talk about. We'll talk about it later. Procrastination interview was great, says Matthew Lamb. Are you a procrastinator, Forrester?
Yes, very much so.
Are you?
150% I am. Yep.
Right.
I will procrastinate things to the point that I will borderline not do them.
Oh, really? Can we talk about this later?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. What, later or now? Yeah, later. Yeah, sure. Let's do it later. I don't really feel like doing it now.
You prefer to do it later, don't you?
Yeah.
What about you, Caleb? Are you?
It depends what it is. I usually like to have my ducks in a line with a lot of things.
You're a bit uptight.
No, I'm what you call organised.
Oh, that's so organised, yeah.
Yeah.
We hate these guys, eh, Forrester?
I mean, if uptight's organised, then hey,
that's you.
I'm uptight.
Yeah. You iron your undies?
No, oh fuck no. I don't know much. Oh, excuse me. Jeez, I forgot.
You're allowed to say it's a podcast.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
podcast, yes.
Oh, jeez, okay.
Yeah,
anyway. We've got a special treat now, don't we?
The Plonker rankings.
Yeah, do you want me to cue up the music?
Yeah, come on. Have you got some?
Yeah, I do. Here we go.
Great music.
Feel like... Okay, so the Plonker rankings, folks. Darlene Tunner has gone to the top of the Plonker rankings. She's the ultimate Plonker so far of 2024, exploiting migrant workers. It has to be up there. Nobby Clark's a permanent fixture now. I think Nob takes... I'll start to move things. I think what we'll do, I'm going to take New Zealand off, okay? National Weird, I'm just be a little bit more patriotic. So New Zealand's coming off, and that Dunedin councillor that I mentioned in my 3 questions today, his middle name is Nobby. I mean, he's the Dunedin councillor. I'm going to put him in here, okay? We'll make a fancy sign later when we get the budget. Dunedin guy, okay? Dunedin guy, he's a complete... Okay. So we're going to put him there. Kiwi Rail can stay there because they took a cup of tea and a lie down when they should have been steering the boat. That was absolutely fucking idiots, weren't they? The highways, yeah, NZTA is going to come. I'm going to take Colin Peacock off. He's strutted on this board for far too long. And NZTA, I think they've also got an FU in there as well. So there we go. We've got Darlene Tunner, Kiwi Rail. Yeah, you can't be this Dunedin guy. The racist from Dunedin. Nobby Clark, who's a permanent fixture now. We're going to have him in concrete there. And NZTA for closing all the roads. That's a fair plonker. Yep, that's good. Right. Yeah, that's where we're at, mate. So that's us. Okay. Who thinks Nobby should stay there as a permanent fixture? I do. You can't go around using the N-word, Nobby. That is us. Thank you so much for your support this week and your understanding as of yesterday. Now you sort of understand what went on. It wasn't good. It really wasn't good. I want to say this podcast is available on Rover as ASAP after we come off here live, and or wherever you get your podcasts. They're all over the show, but wherever you get them, this will be there. Thanks for your feedback and support. I'm Duncan at rover.nz. Let us know your thoughts and comments and suggestions. To my team, Caleb, thank you very much, Sue. Miranda, who's taking a quick break today, good on you. You deserve it. You work so hard, Miranda. Thank you so much. Forrester, you're the man. You are the man. Thank you very much. Zarina, thank you so much for just appearing. That's lovely. Thank you. Nice to see you. And we'll do it all again on Monday. That's nice of you to turn up. It's a bit earlier than I turned up, though, yesterday. Remember, this is one of the greatest countries on earth. So get out and enjoy it. Go the All Blacks, and we'll catch you on Monday. Take care.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.